Welcome, and thank you for taking the time to check out this little show here. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, do all that great stuff, and that will help me out a lot, and I'll appreciate it. Now, let's get to our guest today. We're going to welcome back Paul Crosby, the drummer of Saliva, and as well as his sons, Sean and Zac, are joining us today. If you want to learn more about Paul, check out my other episode with him. It's number 94, I believe, on the YouTube, or you can check it out on streaming. And we get into his whole history and his story and background with Saliva. But today, we're going to talk more about his new band, Coldwards. It's kind of a new metal, modern rock band with his sons, Sean and Zac. They join us. And I've heard one of the songs is called Say Something. It has a really cool modern vibe to it. And there's a full album called Bloodwork that's on the way. And we talk about today. I just found out there's a couple special guests that are going to be play on the album. So that's kind of exciting. And we're going to talk about what their plans are with the album for touring and all that good stuff. Plus, Paul will give me an update on Saliva and what they're up to. So here we go. Check it out. Please welcome Coldwards to the Chuck Shoot Podcast. We got Paul, my old buddy, drummer of Saliva. How you doing, Paul?
Hey, man. Good. Thanks for having me.
And then in the other corner, we got Sean. How you doing, Sean?
Hey.
Nice to meet you. Now, Sean, you do, wait, don't tell me, you do the vocals and guitars, correct?
Yep.
For the band? Okay, and then Zac, you do vocals and electronics.
That would be me.
Is that correct? Okay, cool. So we'll get into the band. I just want to catch up with Paul since our last interview. We kind of told your life story about how you came to be in Saliva. So is there any news updates with Saliva? Whatever happened to that tour with Josie? Is that ever going to happen? Because that got some big headlines last time we talked about that.
Yeah.
Like that was canceled.
Yeah.
And
We did. Actually, it's exactly kind of where we left it off last time you and I spoke about it.
Okay.
There's no update. I wish that there was. It's pretty much where it's at. Yeah, where we left it.
Okay. And then you guys have a couple shows on the books, right? That are coming up in America.
Yeah, we're playing. We've been playing a lot this year. We have a couple shows this coming weekend, and then I think we're doing a 3-week run in the beginning of December, and then we go to Europe in January and February of next year. Europe, UK. Okay,
so the Europe thing is. I was going to ask you about that. Are those dates set? Because I didn't see them on the website. Are they still working out?
I am 99% sure that at least most of those dates are happening. At least the last update I got, which was just 4 or 5 days ago, that was kind of where it was at.
And is it you guys headlining or?
Yeah.
Okay, who's opening?
It's a couple of bands that are from the UK, I believe. So.
Okay, and then you're still doing the management as well with the was it Pat Groove Records?
Pat Groove Records, and then I've got my management company, which is Paul Crosby Management, PCM.
Is there
still
any
doing those things? Yeah.
Yeah, Silent Theory was the big one. I think you talked about last. Is that still the main focus, or have you signed any new bands?
I definitely have some. I have more bands than that on my roster. I've signed a few new bands recently too that I'm helping develop. But Silent Theory is still one of the bigger bands on my roster. Those guys just keep moving upwards nonstop, man. So I think they're at their third single at radio right now. So I mean they're doing pretty well, man. But I equally focus on all of the bands on my roster. No one gets any less than the other. But yeah, definitely Silent Theory is definitely one of my top bands right now.
And I'm assuming you're managing Coldwards as well, right?
Correct. At least for the time being. We'll see what happens. I mean, if it got crazy, then sure, we would probably, consider bringing someone else in. But for now, I think I got it. Okay. So question for Zac and Sean, what was it like having, a dad is basically a rock star? I mean, he's in a huge band that's a multi-platinum Grammy award-winning band. Was it weird, or was that just like life is normal for you guys?
I never paid it much mind as a child. Oh, well, I guess that's not entirely true. I guess in a way you could say that I looked up to him in a way that, I don't know. I've been wanting to do music since before I could even remember wanting to do music as it is. I don't know. I guess to me it was just kind of that's my life. That's normal.
Did you guys get to go to concerts and go backstage and meet some of the other rock stars and some of the other bands and stuff? That must have been cool.
Oh my goodness. More times than I can remember.
Any ones that stand out? What were some of the biggest people that you met? Because I know last time I talked to Paul and he got to open for Kiss and Aerosmith, and so that was like a dream for him. Was there somebody that you guys wanted to really meet that you got to?
Man, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure I remember very well.
I actually think that Zac got to meet either Steven Tyler or Gene Simmons on the Kiss Aerosmith tour. He was just a little boy then, so he probably doesn't really remember. And from everything I remember too, with them being little, they just I was just their dad, you know what I mean? So it kind of seemed, I guess, a little more normal to them than it would to somebody else, you know?
Right. But so you're the drummer in this band with your kids. I mean, that's like, I'm trying to think like if I could be in a band with my dad, I just don't, I mean, not that either one of us had any musical talent, but is it weird having your dad in the band? Like, I mean, do you want to go off and party and be like, oh no, dad's here, we can't party hard, or what is that like?
If you had told me 15 years ago that I'd be in a band with my dad and that's how I'd end up doing things, no, I'm sorry, no, it's not weird. I literally thought like that was like a dream when I was a little kid.
That's really cool. So you never thought of just having him manage the band or something like that. You wanted him actually to be able to play with you guys.
Exactly.
Okay. So Paul's what's that?
Kind of how the whole thing started was we just, during the COVID lockdown, we just decided, we were all working on our own music and we just decided to, hey, let's just write a couple of songs together just for the fun of it because we're bored, you know? And then the songs were coming out good. So then eventually we just decided let's do a whole record. And then things just keep moving forward. So we were like, let's just do it. You know, let's just be a band, you know, and see what happens. Let's have fun with it. So
how does that work though? Cause you're all three in different cities. Like you're in, Paul, you're in Houston, Sean's in Wisconsin, and Zach's in Memphis. So how does that work?
Right. Well, for the recording, the good thing is you know, that they all know how to record themselves already and have their own little home studios and stuff. So for the recording, we would write and send stuff back and forth. And then when we were ready to track the real deal, we would all just track our parts. And then we sent all of our parts off to get mixed by a separate mixer. So that part's easy. And our bass player also, by the way, I forgot to mention, his name's Richie Hey.
Yeah.
He also lives here in Houston. So when it comes time for us to go do shows, then we'll probably just fly Zac and Sean here to Houston and do our rehearsals and then hit the road. I mean, like with Saliva, I live in Houston, Wayne lives in Memphis, and Bobby and Brad live in Jacksonville, Florida, but we still make that work somehow. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I guess it's doable.
So have you guys not had a full rehearsal together in the same room though?
Not yet.
That's crazy because
other than you know we shot the videos for our first two singles a few weekends ago. So I mean, other than that, no.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of counts for something, but not really.
Okay. Yeah, that's because it's interesting when you listen. I mean, I've only heard one song, and there's a full album coming out, but the song "Say Something," it's a great song, and it sounds totally professional. Like, I mean, you cannot tell the difference between that and any Saliva song. I mean, in terms of production, it sounds magnificent. Yeah. So you have it professionally. You said you had sent it off to have it mixed. You have it professionally mixed then?
Yes, a kid by the name of Jonathan Dolis out of Concrete Studios in New Orleans. He mixes everything for us. Like I said, we track everything ourselves and do all the editing, and we send it over to Jonathan, and he mixes it. So it just works. And honestly, even with Saliva, even with most bands, you typically aren't all playing at one time when you record. It's mostly done, even if you're all in the studio at the same time, you do the drums first, right, and then the bass and then the guitars, you know what I mean? So realistically, in any studio setting, you're most of the time not playing with the full band at once anyway. You know what I mean?
Did you guys
I mean,
jam as
we-
kids though? When they were like, when you growing up, did you guys just have jam sessions all together? Or is this, I mean, have you ever played together? Maybe not necessarily in this band, but in other projects, just.
No, not before this. No.
Wow.
Before this, I was in an entirely different group.
Oh, you were?
Yeah,
Okay. So this is not your first band.
This isn't my first, no, and neither was the last one anyway, but I had a couple, like there were two bands and they didn't, the first one definitely didn't work out. The second one most certainly didn't. And this one was the dream. This one was my dream goal anyway. So yeah, I don't see this one turning out like the last two.
Well, that's great. It sounds good. So tell me about, cause you do the vocals, but you also do electronics. Explain to me the electronic parts and how will you do those parts live? Will you do that live?
Well, for starters, I make stuff like, I worked on EDM and I've made like rap beats and stuff for like 8, close to 9 years now. Cause I was around 13 when I was around 12 actually when I had first heard dubstep, and it was like it was Skrillex's Reptile or something of that caliber. And I don't know. I lost my mind at the idea that I didn't actually have to play any of that stuff. I can make all this on a computer and somehow make that work. So I had spent 8 years mastering my craft on like little FL Studio on some crappy little tower computer, and work like I don't know. I worked from there. I did a little group thing. We learned to master my craft with the rap beats, and then I'm actually kind of new to playing it. You said something about doing it live. I'm kind of new to playing it live because I never really used external hardware. All I really had was a computer, my mind, and my FL Studio.
So you may have to use some sort of like pre-recorded stuff to make.
I've got a little keyboard, and like a little beat pad type deal.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, cool.
He's got some Akai stuff that he uses, and he will be playing all of the samples and loops that you hear on the song and all of our songs he created, and those are sampled into pads, and he will be playing those live when we do live shows. It won't be like on tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll actually be playing his parts on his sample pads.
Okay, so I don't remember hearing a lot of guitar solos on this song. Is there, Sean, do you get to solo on some of the other songs at all, or do you want to?
I think I have like one song that I do a solo in. I'm really more of a rhythm player, or like, just technical riffs, but not so much solos, I guess. That's just kind of the that I learned. So
what is your influence as a guitar player? Like what guitar players are you looking up to then?
I mean, specific guitar players, not really. I listen to, it's such a variety of stuff, but lately, I listen to a lot of like Architects, Wage War, bands like that, really drop tuned, but like technical riffs going on and stuff. And then sometimes I bring it back to like, old 90s rock stuff. So it's kind of mixed in there,
Yeah, no, it sounds like, how would you guys describe the sound of this band? I think I did hear the words new metal in one of the descriptions. Would you agree with that? Or it's kind of more updated, I think.
I can agree with that to an extent.
I think the new metal tag is going to get tagged on there just because the fact that I'm in Saliva and we came from the new metal era. Right. We kind of call it new rock, honestly. But it's nothing like Saliva. I really honestly don't think it's anything like Saliva at all. We have some songs. We have a song on the record that's an acoustic song. Then we have songs that are screaming double bass and hard and up tempo. We have a song, Ron Bumblefoot, Thou from formerly of Guns N' Roses, does a screaming, blistering solo on one of our songs. So we have a couple features on there too.
Oh, okay. Well. That's cool. Yeah, I had Ron on. He's great. He's so freaking talented. Who else?
He is awesome.
Who else takes a guest spot on this album?
There's one song where we brought Bobby from Saliva and we let him do he sings the hook on one of the songs. So
Okay.
other than that, we didn't want to do too many guests on this first record anyway. I got Saliva did a few shows with Dave Ellison's band end of last year, and Ron was out playing guitar for them. So that's how I got to meet Ron. And then we have this song on the record that's really heavy, and I was like, it needs a blistering solo. And I was like, I'm just going to text Ron and just ask him if he'll do it. I wasn't expecting him to do it, but I was like, hey man, I got this band with my sons. Would love you to play a solo. What would the chances of that be? He said, sure, send me the song. I'll play a solo. And he completely crushed it. It's insane. What he did.
God.
Which song is that? What's that one called?
It's actually called Bitch.
Bitch. Okay. I'll have to look. Yeah, I'll look out for that. That sounds amazing. So the song that's out now, or I guess, is it out, or is it just a preview? I got to hear the whole thing, but
yeah, you're special, man.
Okay.
The song actually officially releases everywhere October 29th, and it hits radio. It does radio impact November 2nd. So yeah, we'll be
Will it be
October
played on
29th.
radio? Because that's tough. Now, how does that even? Because now you're on the management side, so you have a better in on that kind of stuff with the radio. How do you get your song played on radio now? It's tough, isn't it?
It's tough, man. It requires label backing and financial backing. Realistically, that's kind of the way it is. We recently signed a deal with Wake Up Music Rocks. We are very happy with them so far. They're doing all of the things that a label should do if they want to, help ensure success of a band. They're doing all the right things and hiring all the right people. So we're very fortunate for that. And I think we got a little bit of a leg up just because of my background, my management background. We kind of know what to do and what not to do. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And one of the things that you got to do now, even more so than the radio, is getting on those Spotify playlists. That's huge. I feel like Spotify is way bigger than radio, right? So how do you do that? How do you get the songs on those playlists?
Like as far as if this is me speaking as manager Paul Crosby, bands, a lot of bands that I represent are using SubmitHub. They're getting a lot of really good results from that. You got to go through certain sites, but you got to make sure that you're using legit and honorable sites, because you don't want to get flagged, and you don't want fake stuff anyway. You want organic stuff. But as far as Coldwards goes, our label is hiring all the right people to do all the Spotify campaigns, the radio campaigns, and stuff like that. So on your own as an independent band with your own financial, covering your own finances, sites like SubmitHub are great, legit. And just things like that.
What is it? What's it called? SubmitHub?
SubmitHub. Yes. Okay. You basically, they charge a small fee. You send your music and they submit it to all the playlist curators. And then it's up to the curators if they want to add it or not.
And then, okay. So that's how you do it for the playlist. Then what about for TV and film and commercials and all that? Is there a different site for that? Or that's always seems like a tricky one to me. And that's also the most lucrative if you can get in.
To me, you pretty much need a manager and a label. You need a team of people at that before you really get to that point. In my honest opinion, you know what I mean? You gotta have contacts, a Rolodex for that one,
Well, do you have that though, with your background of Saliva and all that?
I know people I could submit to, but it's just still no guarantee that they're gonna use it. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, as far as the Coldwards thing goes, we're just kind of running with the label on it. You know what I'm saying? I am managing it officially, but I'm also kind of letting the label do their thing as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I need to do without stepping on toes. Basically.
Right. And so besides the Spotify playlist is a big piece, the music TV or the film and TV and commercials is big, but then I'd say the other thing is getting on those festivals. Can you get on the festivals? That's a huge thing, and then you could just keep doing those, and that's good payment and good exposure.
Yeah. See, if you can get on those Spotify playlists and get mass, if your stuff basically goes viral, like if you get tons of monthly listeners, tons of streams, that's your segue to getting on those festivals, because that's what the promoters are looking at. What's your fan base? I want max people to come to my festival. So I want the bands that have max following. if you've got 300 followers, they're probably not going to call you to come play the festival. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that could be where your background comes in too, because then they can put that on the poster, like featuring Paul Crosby of Saliva. That gives you some sort of leg to stand on.
I say use whatever you can use, man. In this business, it's tough, as everybody knows. So if you got an ace in your pocket, use it, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the new song Say Something, it's about a person's struggle with their addiction. Is that somebody's personal experience or a friend or just total fiction?
I'll let Sean answer that because Sean actually wrote the lyrics to that song.
I mean, I try to write everything. I try to make it as broad, as relatable to anybody as it can be. Some of it I kind of dig into a dark place, and then some of it I kind of just envision a character, you know, somebody who's going through something at that moment. Could have been stuff I've been through before or stuff I've seen people go through themselves. But yeah.
Okay. So then so you wrote the lyrics for that. So then, cause it says, that you and Zac both do vocals. So do you both trade off lead vocals, or is one of you more background?
In that song, Zac pretty much does my harmonies, my backups, the entire song. There are some songs on the album where me and Zac go back and forth. We trade off. And then some of them we're just kind of like harmonizing each other.
Okay. So Zac, when you're not singing, then you'll be doing like the beats and stuff. You'll do it in the electronic, almost like kind of like a DJ, like sort of, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, that makes sense then. Okay. Cause I didn't know if you were just like the lead singer. Okay. Now this is making more sense. So you'll be like having your laptop and singing, doing harmonies and stuff.
Basically. Like, so there'll be points where you know, Paul's doing drums and then he can stop. And then I throw in some beat stuff, maybe a little bit of synth, like something of that caliber. And, that's basically what we'd be doing.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a whole little DJ set up with all his sample pads and all that good fancy stuff that we just had him built. So that's pretty much how he runs all the samples live.
That's cool. And I think that is why it has kind of a unique sound. It almost like the song I heard kind of almost reminds me a little bit of Linkin Park, because it's kind of got that.
My goodness.
Right?
Hey, you know what?
I've heard. Oh my goodness.
We're, you know, obviously Linkin Park is a massively huge band. So obviously we didn't really set out to, we didn't set out to sound like anything, but I mean, we'll definitely take that as a compliment.
It's definitely a compliment.
Of course.
Yeah.
One of my earliest musical memories came from Linkin Park anyway. So
did you ever get to?
Zac was a little boy. He called him Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
Yeah, it was funny.
Did you ever get to have any interactions with them, or I don't know if they ever toured with Saliva?
Apparently, I say apparently because I don't remember this at all, but apparently I met Mike Shinoda a long time ago. Once upon a time.
You did. I was there.
Is there pictures of these things, like him with Kiss and Aerosmith and Linkin Park and all this?
No clue.
With the kids, probably not that I would have. Zac's mom probably would have some of those. I'm sure I could get them.
Okay.
I've got tons of pictures of them when they were like little kids, but just not of things like that.
Those are some prime memories to have for sure. So the album is called Bloodwork. It's going to be coming out sometime in 2022.
Correct.
Yeah.
Spring.
And so we Say Something is the addiction song. Bitch is the one Bumblefoot plays on. What are some of the other songs? I thought there was one that was something about spiders or something. My Skeletons. The Skeletons.
My Skeletons. Okay.
I saw the lyrics, but I didn't get the clip, so I didn't get to hear it.
Skeletons will be the second single. We already shot the video for that one. And that one, Sean sings the verses and Zac sings the choruses. So that's one of those songs where the vocals kind of switch up a little bit. That one it's really, really, really cool. There's another song called You. That's the acoustic song. It's just acoustic guitars, vocals, and Zac doing like a little loop on it. The song that Bobby Amaru guests on is called Welcome to My Winter. We got one called The Drift. What am I missing here, Sean?
Hourglass.
Hourglass, yeah. The record's going to have 10 songs on it. It's going to be a 10-song record.
And it's going to be are you going to release it like the singles first and then the album? Because that seems to be the way that most people do it. They release one song at a time, or is it going to be like release 2 singles and then the whole album, or is it going to be like 1 song a week, or how are you going to do that?
We're going to release at least the first 2 singles and then drop the whole record.
Okay.
But it could, depending on how that goes, it could be released 3 singles and the whole record, but no more than that.
Okay.
2 to 3 singles and then the whole record.
Okay, so then the record comes out. So then is there tour plans yet?
As of right now, there's nothing on the books because, we're just getting this whole thing rolling. But we're definitely 100%, planning on touring and doing the full thing, doing some shows and all that good stuff. We want to use the first couple singles to build up buzz, momentum, let people know about the band. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're no matter of anybody's background, we're a new band. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
We kind of got to go through the motions first. But if there is if people want us to come play shows, next year, we certainly would love to. So we're hoping the thing takes off and we get to get on some cool festivals and all that good stuff. But
yeah, I think the festival thing is a good key. And then also just doing some sort of package deal, even if it's not, if you can open up for a big band, that's great. But even just having like 2 or 3 other newer bands would be, they each bring in their own fan base and then you triple your audience.
I would love to go out as direct support for some other bands for the first while. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, obviously, I can take us out with Saliva, do some shows there at least. But
will they let you do that? Like you have the power. You could say, "Hey, we're going to open," and then
I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem at all. I mean, these kids grew up with the band. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good fit too. I mean, you said it's, obviously it's not the same as Saliva, but I think the fans would embrace that, the music I've heard.
The only part that sucks about that is I have to play for 2 sets.
Yeah. That's hard, right?
I would totally do it though.
Yeah. Is it hard to play 2 sets like that? Because drumming is so physical.
Yeah. It's it all depends, man. If we're playing, at a room that's 100 degrees, man. Yeah, it gets hot. It all depends on the environment, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you definitely feel like you spent an hour at the gym for sure when you get done. So
yeah, maybe have like you guys open and then have like a middle slot and then Saliva.
Yeah.
So you get a break.
Yeah. Go take a shower, get a massage maybe. And then,
yeah. Nice. Cool. And then, so then you talked about the Saliva shows. Anything else going on that you want to promote here?
Man, right now, just the grind, man. Just Saliva, Coldwards, Paul Crosby Management, Pat Groove Records. Again, I want to thank our label, Wake Up Records, for believing in us. Wake Up Music Rocks for believing in us and taking a chance on us. We also have a YouTube channel that there's a preview of the video for on sometime next week. We'll be dropping another little video preview that has even a little bit more of the song. Okay. And then obviously on the 29th, we'll do the release and the video will be on the YouTube channel. So go to our YouTube channel too, subscribe to that. Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Coldwards. Spelled COLDWARDS. We're giving away some limited edition Coldwards Wake Up Music t-shirts right now. So if you go there, follow us, click the little thing, follow the instructions, and you can win a cool shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna say whoever designed the logo, I really like that. It's a really neat logo.
Melody Myers, actually, we got to give props to her. She's been doing a lot of stuff for Saliva. She does a lot of stuff for a lot of bands. But she designed the logo. She designed the single cover. She designed the album cover for Bloodwork. She's amazing.
Okay,
so if
yeah.
you're looking for a good graphic designer, look up Melody Myers.
Okay, yeah, looks good. So I will put the Facebook and the YouTube in the show notes, and then we'll promote, St. Jude's Children's Hospital is your charity, the same one you used last time. If people got a few extra bucks, they can throw some money that way. And anything else you guys want to say before we take off?
That's it, man. Thank you for having us.
All right.
We're excited to see what everybody thinks about the tunes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I look forward to new music.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, man.
Paul Crosby, Zac Crosby, Sean Crosby, plus bass player Richie Hey, who is not there today. But they make up Coldwards. check out the new song or the full album, depending on when you're listening to this episode. And make sure to follow the band on YouTube and Facebook. It's Coldwards, but it's spelled Coldwards. And make sure you can grab some merch as well. They have some really cool t-shirts, really neat logo. Make sure to follow Saliva as well and check out their website and social media for current tour dates there. And I want to thank Paul, Zac, and Sean for coming on the show today. And also thank you all for listening. I appreciate your continued support. And please make sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, follow on social media, all that good stuff. It helps me out. I really appreciate it. If you have an extra minute, if you could write me a review on Apple Podcasts, that will help more people find the show. And that's about it. So have a great rest of your day. And remember, shoot for the moon.